Today, we're going to be talking about all the possible ways we can use videos to harness our online visibility. So together with Will, we are focusing on how helpful it is to have people connecting with us and visualizing our content via this kind of medium. Will, would you like to say about something about yourself, introduce yourself?
Yeah, thanks, Silvia. Yeah, hi, I'm Will. Yeah, as Silvia sort of said, we're going to talk about videos today and like how we can sort of help increase business using video production. Yeah, I run a video production agency called Rolling Wave Media. Yeah, we're based in Norwich, but we sort of operate all over, doing everything from sort of strategy to production and then through to post-production. So yeah, sort of you can shoot your stuff in your home studio or wherever and then send it over and then we'll sort it out for you, or we'll just help you out with your strategy and you go away and yeah, make some great videos. So yeah, it should be fun.
And you're also about to introduce a new service supporting people with their podcast, right?
Yeah, sort of a new sort of service we're going to be sort of offering to clients is like video podcast production, sort of similar in terms of doing strategy, production, post-production. So yeah, because definitely noticed a massive uptick in like more professional podcasts recently from like agency owners and business owners. That are like not necessarily less entertainment based, but you know, more sort of in the professional space and sort of how we can sort of assist and help them out with things like that. I feel like that's definitely a good thing that businesses can leverage, and I'll sort of touch on that a little bit in the talk.
Yeah, that's really helpful because I know that podcast is something that has been booming for a while, but people know and need support. So that's something that I'm also going to be mentioning. So I know the session is strange and the format is kind of compressed. I'll get straight into a little bit of sharing. You know about the agency, we only do SEO. We've been running for a little while, specialized as can be only doing one thing. We always start with a quote, and the one today dedicated to video is because it's so much easier to connect when you have to choose somebody to deliver your service or to sell your product, and you have so many options to choose. If you can choose somebody that has created a connection with you, then that becomes much more of an obvious choice, all things being equal. And it's the reason why seeing us here in video, it's the core essence of what we're doing today is actually video making, recording, a format that is visible and audible, and it's different if you're only listening rather than here, that you can see us and you can see the way we talk and we move our hands and the way I move my hands all the time and the way we speak. You kind of get a little bit of our personality and the way we like doing things, and that applies whatever sort of business you do. So if you're not just a name, but you're a person, obviously that creates connection, and there's nothing more challenging but even more rewarding than when you're putting your face out there. So that's mainly the reason why. And this is meant to explain how video works on humans, and then we will see how it works on machines as well. So the way it works on humans is because it creates this connection, and the type of people that we work with are the high trust kind of industries, so medical, legal, financial, all of those industries in which having a connection reinforces the kind of confidence that you can have in somebody being able to look after you properly. So you can choose many type of different medical or legal financial advisors, but in the end, if you find somebody from the start that you feel like you can trust, that makes a massive difference. So, for example, when we're talking about medical, a couple of examples here from clients, all agreed, okay, on being shown as good examples. So when you're talking about medical issues and symptoms and treatments, if you can have a moment in which you're explaining in simple terms what do you know that is the common pain and what the solution can be, that immediately helps people so much more than if it's in a written kind of format. So it will help you convey the things that you want to explain. It will help people digest it better. And at the same time, it will reinforce you being found and you converting more, all things being equal. So very same thing applies when we're talking about legal issues. So people wanting to understand if they can trust you even before they contact you, particularly again when the stakes are high and the topics are sensitive. They will understand. They will understand how to immediately connect and liaise with you even before they become part of your journey. So we're talking in our AIDA kind of funnel. If you remember from one of the previous webinars that we had, in top of the funnel, that will help with your awareness because that will make you discoverable. Videos will help, and we will see in a little moment when we're talking on how it helps with machines, you ranking better. So the awareness moment, but also then the interest and going down the funnel, because the conversion is definitely easier when they have spent a bit of time with you, even if it's just online. It feels like it has created the moment. Oh, I went straight to the end and I didn't want that. So let's go back to where we were. So after having created this sort of initial moment of connection, as we were saying, the awareness, the initial awareness is facilitated because videos kind of cut through the noise in many different ways online. And here you're seeing the most famous AI search tools at the moment, GPT, Perplexity, Claude, and Gemini, and our old friend Google. So it's different the way it works because, for example, from an SEO point of view, search engine optimization, having your video on your website in the right way, as in not as something that is heavy and it kind of hinders your page loading, your page speed, and so on, but embedded with all of the technical things that you need to have to make it load in a nice way. So you can have it from your YouTube, you can have it from your Vimeo, but in a way that doesn't damage the page speed. At this moment, then it becomes an absolute advantage because Google is able to intercept and interact with a website, understanding how the user experience is going. So your dwell time, the time that people spend on a page. If this is another of our clients, they have an engineering consultancy. So those are kind of difficult topics, but the time that people spend seeing the video on the page is time spent on the page. So Google will understand that this page is giving a good user experience. This page is actually helping people, so reducing what used to be the bounce rate. People are having engaged sessions, longer sessions. So all of these are positive signals that tell Google this page that this possible result is a good one. We should show it more. We should present it more often. At the same time, search engine result pages. There are many different type of pages. You see, you have usually your normal kind of results. Then you will see shopping. In some cases, it triggers the shopping tab. In some cases, it triggers the images tab. If, for example, you have, I don't know, design related queries, say, I don't know, you're looking at interior design, you're looking at topics that trigger images. They don't always happen in the same way. Videos, that video tab, it appears all the time, anytime, because as we see, as we would see, it's one of the things that actually people use when they're searching now. Short videos as well. Short videos are 1 minute. And their clips, they can, you can be listed in there. They will be taken from whatever you uploaded on various different social media, and Google will decide that this is worth showing for that keyword. You might not know videos also rank in the images tab, as surprising as it sounds. So you have your images tab and the video is ranking for that as well. So you're kind of dominating many different places. And there's plenty of people that only search on YouTube right now. YouTube belonging to Google, so is used as it's meant, it's thought as a search engine, with people starting intentionally search just from YouTube because it's their medium. There's people who prefer acquiring content from reading, from listening, from watching a video. So we definitely need to cater, particularly based on what your demographic are. If you know that that's a place they will check, you need to be there together with your competitors, possibly better than they do. As for YouTube, there is so much potential, and as a search engine, you can and you should optimize it. So optimization for YouTube absolutely exists. You have so many spaces where you can optimize. If you think your channel description, you have 1,000 characters that you can fill. You can have lots of links to website and many other places, including your email if you want to have it straight as a possible connection point. Your playlist, you have up to 5,000 characters, and you know, we're not never ever we're spamming keywords, so we are stuffing keywords, but definitely this is a place where your keywords can and should be. So the things that you know that people are searching for, this is a lot of space that you have available to articulate what you do and utilize your keywords. Video description, 1,000 characters, including all of the possible emoji that you can have, many links, different links that you can have. Absolutely, as you know that we do with SEO, your titles are really critical. So you need to make sure that you have keywords and things that can convince, that can make the decision. Your transcripts and your captions, again, the words that you say will be displayed in writing and will be given even more reasons to show you as a possible result. As you know, AI search tools, they don't just look at Google, they look at the entire ecosystem online. So this is an example for us when we were asking, can you recommend me an SEO agency for doctors? And then I asked, why did you recommend us? And I went to check all the sources to see what matters. And this is ChatGPT. And among the things that matters, unsurprisingly, there is YouTube. So you kind of need to establish a position, a foothold in all of this. So you see your social media, you see directories, you see articles that you have been featured on, and then you see YouTube. Absolutely. So it's not silos anymore. You need to kind of have a presence in all of these. As for things that you can say, will be giving you a lot of advice, but definitely you can explain in your videos the things that you want your patients, your clients to understand. You can introduce yourself. You can explain all of the how to go through all of the various steps involved. mini little sequences that help people understand and familiarize. You can repurpose your content so much and so well, particularly when you start from a video, because it's the most kind of multi format that you have. You have a video side, you have an audio side, so eventually you might extract some sound bites and do something with them as well. You can take the words that you're saying, every 1 minute you're saying 100 words, maybe even more because I'm talking fast now, but in a session in 2 minutes you have 200 words, in 3 minutes, so you can actually take these and translate into an article, which doesn't mean you're taking the transcript and just checking it online. You need to reformat it as a video, as a written sort of content, so all of your credibility, headings, subheadings, bullet points, make it become a unique thing, but it's so fast for you. And then from the video, from the written content, you can embed your video. From the video, you can point to your website and interlink all of this content together. You can reshare it on your YouTube and social media. You can cut clips and then reshare them again. And then you can repost this again, because it doesn't have to go online just once. People's memory is really short. So it's a waterfall of content that you can keep reusing. And I know we are all a little bit uncomfortable the first times, in particular when we're facing a camera at the beginning. We feel like everybody's out to judge us, and we feel very uncomfortable sometimes when we're talking. And there is this void because I'm talking to myself and I'm not seeing anyone else. If you're recording on your own, or if people have got their cameras off, you're feeling like you have to perform and everybody is just ready to judge. Instead, we can acknowledge that our brain is trying to protect us. Thanks, but no, okay, I can do this. Focus on, I'm helping you out. So I've got an accent. I know I move my hands a lot, but I'm helping people out. I'm using my time to help, and everybody's got their own flaws, and nobody really cares. Surrealism as in, yeah, but nobody will notice and nobody really cares. And in the end, we're authentic and we connect with other people who are knowledgeable and authentic more. Again, going back, if it helps, rehearse a lot, which definitely boosts your confidence. If you need help, there's lots of really knowledgeable people such as Will, who can help you out with this. This is the usual QR code if you want to have some individual advice for free.
Yeah, to sort of jump off what Silvia was saying. Yeah, it's sort of, once again, how can we sort of help you get found online with sort of video? So I gave you sort of know about me from what I said at the beginning. Yeah, I run a video production agency, sort of specializing in creating short and long form video content for websites and social media, which helps drive the sales, brand engagement, and website traffic. Because nowadays it's not just about your sales; it is about brand awareness, often more than anything. Sort of a question for everyone to sort of think about. When did your business last post a video, and did it achieve its goal? And if not, sort of maybe think about why. Because there's so many people out there nowadays that sort of make videos like, oh, it's so great to have one, and then they sort of post it once and don't really do anything with it, sort of like Silvia was saying. And it can often be down to strategy, which I see as the main pitfall of most businesses nowadays. And I sort of want to talk about the importance of long-term video strategy to start off with, as many people think that video is often a one and done solution, or everyone is an overnight success on social media, and that is definitely not the case. All of you here clearly work with Silvia because she's amazing at what she does, and everyone knows that SEO is very much a long-term strategy, and so you need to view video as you'd view SEO, as something that is very much a long-term game that you need to be playing, and the more you play it, the better it becomes for you. And these are some of the benefits of it. It will help increase your brand awareness, better relationships to your audience and your clients. It can help position you online as sort of what I describe as an authority figure. So think of someone like Martin Lewis, money expert. Everyone knows him, like I said, as the money expert, the money guy, because he sort of positioned himself as that. You can show off a personality, and it helps build trust and makes you easier to buy from. As sort of Sylvia's quote sort of mentioned at the beginning, basically people buy from people. And if you seem to be a really personable person, more people are more likely to want to buy off you. As a result, which I definitely think is massive, because there's so many businesses nowadays that just feel really corporate and like faceless. And if there's a face that can be associated with your business, then I think that is a massive benefit in 2026. But the question sort of that was posed in the last bit was sort of what content should you be sort of creating, which is often the question I get asked the most from clients. And I think content has to fit into one of three buckets. The more buckets it can fit into, the better. So you need to either educate, entertain, or inspire. Or if you can do two or all three of them in a piece of content, amazing. With sort of the businesses that you guys are sort of running, I think it'll probably you're more likely to fit into the educate and sort of entertain bucket rather than maybe the inspiration. But it sort of depends on how you're sort of positioning content. So I definitely think styles of content you should potentially be looking into are things such as explainer videos, how-tos, authority content, maybe a business origin story, as that's something people often get asked. Um, Reaction content, seasonal content, and sort of like maybe client testimonials. So explainers and how-tos are sort of quite similar. And it sounds odd, but when you're in your own field and you're thinking about your like knowledge, you're thinking, oh, but what do I know that other people don't know? Um, it can often be like the really simple things, because you are an expert in what you do, but there's a lot of people out there who obviously are not, hence the reason they're watching your content. So there's this guy, I won't play the video, but you can look at him on YouTube, called Mike Raffy. He's a personal injury lawyer in America, and he has thousands of followers, and he often sort of breaks down different things, like in this video, how to get sued and what it actually is, and sort of like the misinformation around it. So there's definitely ways that you can implement that sort of style of content into what it is you do in like such professional lines of work. And sort of once again, like the how-to stuff as well is always great. And also with people like him as well, he does a lot of reaction content. So he'll watch, like, it might be him or some other people. They watch like dash cam footage of car accidents and stuff, and sort of point out who's at fault and why that is the thing. And then things like seasonal content, which are things which are relevant to obviously the time of the year. So maybe incidents that could potentially happen around Christmas, or like, during the summer, different things like that. Yeah, think about the seasons and how people are searching for different things throughout the year, and how that sort of can impact your content. And then also, like, pretty straightforward video testimonials with clients and stuff like that. Or if you have a video podcast, bringing people on, like clients, to sort of do testimonials is a really great way. And also clients and prospect clients open up massively, if when put in a situation like something like a podcast. So best practices for when you're sort of doing things like your content creation, the best things that I found over the years of doing: be straight to the point. So no waffling, basically. You don't need to sort of do an introduction video. Hi, I'm Will, and today we're going to be talking about. People will be gone by that point. You need to be straight to the point. Yeah, so just cut to the, yeah, lead with value, basically. You need to offer something. The viewer needs to come away with something, basically, that has been useful or beneficial for them, that they can then go implement later down the road. Be yourself and be authentic. There's too many people online that really like make this fake persona. Like, sort of when people are doing this, like, hi everyone, like, that's sort of not them being them true selves. And after a while, it people people can see through that, especially nowadays. And also it can be very draining for the person who is doing it, because you are acting, you're masking all the time, which can be a problem. So don't do that. Prioritize sort of good sounding audio over good looking visuals, as people will listen to stuff that sounds amazing but looks like it was filmed on a potato, but won't stick around if it sounds like it was recorded on a potato but filmed on an IMAX camera. Um, Find a good lighting source and learn the rule of thirds. I'm sure if you go on your iPhone, you can literally turn on like the grid rule of thirds, so it's split it into a 3x3 grid, and sort of just learn how to position yourself sort of correctly in that if you're filming vertically. There's so many times where I've seen people sort of like down here in their videos, and it looks terrible. And yeah, practice makes perfect. Sort of like Sylvia was saying, everyone's very self-conscious when it comes to video. It takes a while because you are just talking to an inanimate object that doesn't talk back to you. So you have to sort of learn to get good at it. It is a skill. But the more you do it, the easier it becomes for sure. Yeah, you've got to like, just learn to talk to it. And speaking of sort of equipment and stuff, in terms of things, if you're looking at buying microphones, stuff like DJI mic minis, I really recommend. They're just magnetic. You just clip them onto your shirt and they can connect to your phone, or a camera. And then if you are filming just on an iPhone, get something like a ring light, which is great. Maybe look at some, don't buy super, super cheap ones because they will break. You could also, if you're really upping your production budget and looking to sort of invest in sort of professional services, uh, like lighting and stuff like that, to sort of get a better look. The best and most free item is the sun. Position yourself next to a nice window. Like I've got a really big window behind, right next to me, that sort of just it's really nice, like flooding onto you. Yeah, so with the summer coming around, we hopefully should have some nice weather, even though at the moment it's not looking that way. Yeah, and then this is sort of on the right is sort of my setup when I'm recording content for LinkedIn and stuff like that, sort of using like a podcast style setup, which is sort of, once again, getting into really professional levels at that point. Sort of the flip of what I've just said, mistakes to avoid. Don't always film native to the platform. A lot of people will film inside of Instagram or inside of TikTok or YouTube Shorts. Try film it outside the app and edit it elsewhere, because there's times we want to repurpose it. Like if you film it on TikTok, you can download it, but you'll have a watermark, which then reduces your reach on other platforms, which as a result will negatively impact stuff like SEO and just overall reach. So yeah, film it like on your phone natively or on your camera and then edit it elsewhere. Yeah, not experimenting or using the new formats and like services that the platforms offer. TikTok and Instagram are constantly pumping out new features, which they're wanting users to use, and often they don't tell everyone, but they will boost the reach of the content as a result of using and trialing out those new features, which is great. Something else I see people do is not engaging with comments. It's massive. Like if you've got Dave commenting saying what a great video he's learned some stuff, just comment back to it and like start a conversation, because these are the people that are your community, and the more you're commenting and like replying to these people, they're going to keep coming back, and it takes like 5 minutes out of your day to do it. You might not be getting tons to start with, but always comment back, and maybe also leave them a question as well, so then they respond back to it with something else, because that's a great way of sort of driving engagement. Like, and even if people are sending hate comments and stuff like that, which you might get, like hopefully not, but you don't necessarily have to reply to them, but don't bother deleting them because it's just feeding the algorithm. So it's jokes on them. Yeah, bad framing, which I sort of mentioned about, learn the rule of thirds. There's nothing I detest more than people sort of falling off the bottom of their screen, or their heads are chopped off at the top. When you're editing, not cutting out things what I describe as dead air. So you can cut rid of your ums and ers and stuff like that, or just the long pauses, because in those long pauses when people are swiping away. So don't do that. Oh, and holding the mic. This is my biggest pet peeve. I detest it. It is, if you have like a lav mic or something, this is designed to be clipped onto you like a news presenter, not held up like a tiny microphone. That is like, it is my biggest pet peeve, and anyone who does it, yeah, I have a gripe with. So there's a time and place for it, and it's not using those ones. Yeah, and this is my biggest one, one of my biggest pet peeves. Stop selling. Everyone has a product or a service to sell. That's why we all have businesses, but stop doing it on your social posts. So here's a quick example for you. What sounds better? We now offer imagine this is a video. We now offer hygienist appointments starting at £100. Call us to book. Or 3 ways you can keep your teeth white without whitening strips. And then the video continues. And at the end, you have, and if you want to make sure your teeth are holiday photo ready, why not book one of our new hygienist appointments? Which sounds better? Most probably number 2. Exactly. So you have sort of, you've led with value. You've given 3 pieces of advice you can give to people for free that they can choose to use or not use, and then also at the end a call to action to potentially book one of your products or services. Whereas this, they're just going to see it and swipe away, because as soon as you get an ad or anything on socials, people just scroll away. They don't care. I had a client one time when I was working for some gyms. They just wanted to sort of post, oh, we've got joining offers, we've got this, and it was just not getting any traction or anything, because it was just an ad. Whereas you sort of implement this value, and it just like, it just goes up. So definitely think about that, because you've got a great piece of content and you've got a call to action at the end, whereas this one is just a waste of your time. Then sort of how to sort of plan and execute a content, like how to plan and execute your content. It's all well having all of the thoughts and ideas, but how can we actually do it? So definitely start off with strategy. So sort of think about what is the long-term goal for this over the span of like a year, or if you're sort of doing sprints, like, 3 months or quarterly, or yeah, however you sort of want to do it. Think about what the long-term goal is, because there's no point coming into this thinking we're going to post 5 videos in the space of a week, and if we haven't hit 1 million views, we're going to call it quits, because that is not a strategy. That is a waste of time. And what I then recommend doing alongside the strategy is research into competitors or people in similar fields to you that might want to, um, you know, that might be doing similar things, that you can maybe potentially look at their ideas and like build upon their existing ideas, see what's performed well for them, what hasn't performed well for them, and maybe sort of, not saying copy it, but you can sort of take it and adapt it for your own sort of means, because that's just how the internet works, basically. So yeah, definitely look at what works for people and what doesn't work, but what works for them might not work for you. So bear that in mind. Then go to a scripting phase, sort of like Sylvia mentioned. You could script a video to discuss, so you've got it like nailed down, so you're happy with what you're sort of saying. You can also, if you really want to get really extra, buy a teleprompter, which you can put like the script on your phone and it'll be in front of the camera, so you can just read it off that. However, I find nowadays I've done scripting, I've also done off the cuff, I've also done just bullet pointing. It's each their own, really. Depends sort of the style you want to go for. I find often bullet points works best because you can sort of free flow a bit, but you might end up waffling. So yeah, keep it concise. Then obviously the filming process then comes, followed by your editing, posting it, and then reviewing it. Because you might as well, like I said, you need to sort of see what works best. Plan, do, review, basically. Just see what works best, and then circle back and how can we change this to make it perform better next time, and things like that. And also, like Sylvia said, be keen to sort of implement keywords and stuff like that with obviously SEO and like GEO nowadays, like picking up on video a lot more. Be sure you're prioritizing that, to sort of find ways to do it. Yeah, and definitely with like the filming and the scripting process, especially in like the medical sector, there's a lot of big words, and a lot of average people don't fully understand what it is. So you be sure, pretend you're in the perspective of the audience and how you'd view it as an average viewer who isn't an expert on this like you guys are. That's the best way to sort of think about it. And then yeah, just sort of keep it going and keep it going, and sort of see where you sort of end up, basically, which will be my 2 cents on it. Yeah, I guess that sort of takes me to the end. And if you do want to sort of ask me any more questions, I've got a free 30-minute sort of strategy call where we can sort of dive into stuff and potentially review previous content ideas and stuff to see where you can sort of improve on it. So yeah, or just drop me an email.